How can you keep mosquitoes from eating you alive? Keep cool in extreme heat when air conditioning isn't an option? Or keep a raging wildfire from your front door? And how much wind can the average home stand up to? Stay tuned, because we're going to find out what happens when poor construction and high winds collide. We're blowing this baby down. This is Weather Hacks, your guide to the tips and tricks to hack the weather. Thunderstorms, floods, hail, power outages, drought, bugs, wildfires. It can all make life pretty miserable. And while picking a fight with Mother Nature will get you nowhere, there are a few simple hacks that can make living with her a little bit easier. Getting caught in the rain can be fun and cool you down on a hot day. But some hot weather storms can make you run for cover. Pop-up storms happen all the time. They're tough to predict. And then all of a sudden, they stop on a dime. But you add lightning and thunder, and trees like these can become a major problem. Power lines put you out of commission for a while. So the question is, how do you know if it's safe to eat the food in your freezer? Here's a plan-ahead hack. If there's the threat of a power outage in your neighborhood, freeze a half-full mason jar of water in your freezer on its side. Keep it in your freezer upright. If you find that frozen ice jar has become a jar of water, time to toss your food. What happens if you need to light a candle, but you've got no matches? A AA battery and a gum wrapper can provide the coolest hack for lighting a fire. Cut the wrapper into a thin strip. Hold the metallic side ends onto the terminal ends of the battery. And check it out. Who knew? Move quickly, though, because this flame burns fast. You're caught outside. It's dark. You don't have any candles. Well, we've got you covered with a few hacks. Fill an empty soda can with cooking oil. Twist up a napkin or paper towel to use as a wick and light it up. A can of tuna packed in oil will work if you poke a hole in the top. Add a small piece of string and you've got a lamp. A tuna lamp. Oh, and you can eat the insides of your lamp for lunch later as well. Got a stick of butter around? Before it melts in the heat, cut about an inch off. Put it in a small container, poke a string wick in there, wipe the string with the butter, light it up, and you're good to go. Or stay where it's light. And then use that butter for toast. And finally, for our citrus fans out there, if you've got an orange on hand, cut the skin around the fruit and peel it gently from the orange, leaving the stem intact. The secret is, it works best if you let the orange dry out a little bit. Fill the orange with cooking oil and put some on the wick as well. Now you've got a candle that would make Martha Stewart proud. Ah, smells like oranges. It's kind of a no-brainer, but when the power's out, you can use your car's engine as a mini generator. Plug an extension cord into a car inverter. Let your car run so you don't burn out the battery, and you can actually power a small appliance in the house or charge up your laptop. So no excuses for not working. Android users, you need a charge and you need it fast? Turn off all unnecessary apps before you start charging. If you're an iPhone user, put your phone in airplane mode first, then plug it in. If you've got an iPad, use its charging block for emergencies. It's a 12-watt charger, whereas your iPhone block is only 5 watts. Either of these hacks will save a third of the charging time. Just for the record, thunder does not only happen when it's raining. It can precede a storm, as can the aromatic scent of the rain, pain in your joints, and low-flying birds. Thunder and lightning always go together. The sound of thunder is due to the heat of the flash of lightning expanding the air around it. When the thunder rolls, it's echoing off the ground. Under typical atmospheric conditions, you can only hear thunder from about 10 miles away. And here's a hack you probably forgot about when you were a kid to find out how close a storm is to you. Count the number of seconds from the lightning to the thunder. Divide the number you count by 5, as every 5 seconds equals 1 mile. Thunderstorms can bring with them all sorts of drama, like flash floods, which cause raging torrents from the heavy rainfall, flooding streams, riverbeds, low-lying areas, and urban areas where impervious surfaces make it so that the water's got nowhere to go. Flash floods are serious. In fact, in 2016, they ranked #1 in weather-related deaths. If you're at home or at your business and this happens, you may find yourself trapped with nowhere to go but up. So here's a flood hack tip. Keep an axe handy on high floors or in the attic in case you actually have to break through the roof to be rescued. And thunderstorms have another secret weapon as well that can do real damage: hail. Hail, yes, that is more than rain falling from the sky. They're balls of ice, which seems a bit odd. Balls of ice falling in hot weather? But it happens. Hail occurs when updrafts and thunderstorms carry raindrops up into the colder parts of the atmosphere. The rain turns to ice way up there, then gets suspended in another updraft, continually growing in size, until, depending on what's going on in that storm, those hailstones are big enough for gravity to pull them back down to Earth fast and hard. Hail can be dangerous and costly, but there are a few things you can do to protect yourself and your home. We're here at the Insurance Institute for Business and Home Safety, or IBHS, where they test just how much damage hail really does. Once in a while, something like this falls from the sky. This is an actual mold of a hailstone that's called Vivian. Why? Well, back in July 2010, this hit a small town called Vivian in South Dakota. It turned out to be the largest recorded hailstone in history, measuring a whopping 8 inches in diameter, and it weighed in at nearly 2 pounds. And those 2 pounds could do a ton of damage. Time to shoot some hail. Fire in the hole! I'm here with Tanya Brown-Giamenko, and so you're the VP of Research here. You're actually a meteorologist. So basically, because you can't call up a hailstorm when you need one, you have to create it.
Yes, that's correct. We use all of the facilities in the lab to be able to create realistic properties of hail and test products realistically using that hail. Hailstorms come every single year. They cost homeowners a lot of money, business owners. So we really want to make sure that we have products out there that can stand up to hail.
So how does it work? You can actually control the size of the hail?
Yes, this machine will actually make hail of a bunch of different sizes, but it basically takes the data that we've collected in the field about real hailstones and allows us to mimic them here. So we can mimic shape, density, we can mimic the hardness of the stones.
Let's fire it up. Let's see
go.
some hail.
All right, here comes our first one.
It's like a little
So 1.5 inch.
machine. Look at that. Wow.
This is 1.5 inches, so this is one of the pretty common sizes that you would find in a severe hailstorm.
Now, at the different shingles, how fast would you fire these?
For this particular size would be kind of in the range of about 60, 65 miles an hour, depending on the test.
Can you make a bigger one?
We can definitely make a bigger one. We can go up to 2 inches today.
Ooh, let's see.
So that will be this one.
Okay. Wow.
It's a big guy.
This would do some damage.
Definitely. That one would come at about 70 to 75 miles an hour, so that one would definitely do some damage to most roof systems.
And forget about your roof, what about your car?
Your car would definitely have a lot of dents from that guy, too.
So if you're renovating your roof or you're building a new house, what are some of the things you can do to hack hail, to make sure you try to mitigate your losses?
One of the suggestions that we have is to use a Class 4 impact-resistant shingle. This particular technology uses a very flexible kind of rubber, and it's very stretchy, which gives the chance for the shingle to recover. When the hail impacts it, it'll come back to its original shape.
Stay tuned, because we're going to find out what happens when poor construction and high winds collide. We're blowing this baby down. Don't go away. Forget about the winds from a tornado. High winds from thunderstorms can do real damage to your home. Here at IBHS, they're conducting an experiment. They've built this house to the highest construction safety standards, and then they turn on their huge fans. They've been testing how the house stands up to the wind. Now, what's interesting is they're taking structural safety features off, like anchor bolts and hurricane straps, piece by piece, just to see how important they are.
These winds are only at 60 miles per hour. They're going to crank them up even higher. I'm out of here, and so is this house.
I don't know about you, but I would not want to be inside that house when those winds hit. But you know what? There's some simple things you can do. For about $1 a square foot, you can make your home more wind resistant. Start up at the top, at the roof. These clips clip your roof to the frame of the house, keeps it from blowing down. Now, also, you want to keep the energy that comes with these winds moving straight down into the ground and dissipating. These are wind straps. That keeps the walls together and anchored to the frame. And finally, these bolts connect the frame of your home to your foundation, keeping everything more secure. Think about it this way. Do you want to spend the money on granite countertops in the kitchen, or spend the money to keep your home intact? Is it me, or do summers seem to be getting hotter? Whatever the case, when it's scorching out, you head to the water. Millions of Americans go to the shore each year to beat the heat. And while a day at the beach may sound like a day at the beach, the sun's fun, but it can be dangerous. One of the most important things to remember in summer heat is to sunscreen up, and often. The UV index goes up and down based on things like cloud coverage and reflectivity, the time of day, moisture in the air, even the color of the sand you're on. You gotta take these numbers seriously and remember to reapply sunscreen on the kids and the family on a regular basis. Bring a Sharpie and write the application times right on the bottle so you don't forget. Now, if you do wind up with a burn, here's a hack. Fill an ice cube tray with aloe vera gel. Freeze it and use the cubes to literally cool that burn. Here are a few more beach hacks that may make your trip to the shore a little more stress-free. Protect your valuables. You can easily keep from losing your keys in the water by attaching a screw eye hook to a cork, and you use that as a keychain. Want to travel lighter? Just grab an empty pill bottle, attach a cord, put your money and key in there just to be safe, and wear it around your neck. Or better yet, protect all your gear from water and sand by putting them in an empty sealable plastic container. This little hack does double duty. Not only does it keep your phone safe, but it helps you reduce screen time so you can pay attention to what's more important, like your family and friends. Personally, I like to keep my can out of the sand. My beverage can. So what I do is I take a soup can, something like that. You cut the top off, you take your beverage can, you put that in. Now your bottom's protected. You want to protect the top? Take a cupcake liner, put that bad boy in there, stick a straw in it, and now you're protected top and bottom. Mmm. Bringing your little ones to the beach can be fun, but you want to keep them cool and contained. Dig a hole in the sand and use a shower curtain liner to make a little pool right by your setup. And keep the toys sand-free. Store them in an open laundry basket, and when the day's over, you just hose them down and everything's clean. Heat's hard on your children, so before you head out to the beach, give your kids a craft that will help them keep cool. Cut pieces of colorful sponge into shapes. Help them string them into a necklace and make a beach lei out of sponges. Then dip that into cold water. It looks cool and they're cool. I mean, really cool. I may be starting a trend. Hopefully you'll never feel the sting of a jellyfish. But if it happens, a quick home hack is to apply meat tenderizer, baking soda, or plain white vinegar to the sting area. Now, you may have heard a myth about a certain bodily function that can help a jellyfish sting. Well, let's be clear. That's all it is. It's a myth. So there's no reason to unzip in front of a beach crowd. It doesn't work for many reasons. Number one, it's disgusting. If your kids come out of the water with their ears plugged, this hack is as easy as blowing up a balloon to help release the pressure. Here's a creative and fun way to keep the contents of your cooler cold and provide a little entertainment as the day wears on. Frozen water balloons. The heat of the day will cause them to eventually melt and then provide a refreshing and maybe annoying prank.
When the heat index goes up, guess what else does? Bacteria growth, both in the surf and the sand.
The ocean's filled with bacteria. Some haters refer to it as the world's biggest toilet. Just think about all those cruise ships, oil tankers, and seagulls. They gotta go somewhere. Extreme heat can make the bacteria levels actually increase, and the water can become toxic. So when you see a sign that the beach is closed, take it seriously. And as if that's not enough to creep you out, here's a fun fact that just may. On the average day here at the beach, there's 100 times more fecal matter in the sand than there is in the water. Why? That's because it decays much slower in the sand than it does in seawater. So what washes ashore stays ashore. So seriously, you may want to think twice the next time your kids want to do something like this. So make sure you have fun in the sun, but protect yourself from the things that can turn your day at the beach into a beach bummer. Beach bummer, get it? Surf that, baby! Oh, these hot weather hacks just keep getting nuttier. We've got a friend, we've got a truck, we've got a tarp, I've got a hose, you've got a pool. When extreme heat heads to town, there are very few escapes. For example, today it's going to be about 95 degrees. I've got an infrared thermometer. The sidewalk right now, whoa, 114 degrees. Let's see what the leather seats are like in this car. Man, 119 degrees? You sit on that in shorts, you're going to know it's hot. If the heat's got you down, your air conditioning isn't hacking it, well, here are a few DIY hacks that just may help. A nice cool ice pack could help a lot, but if you don't have one on hand, you could use any of these methods with a sealable bag. Take a wet household sponge, seal that baby up, then throw it in the freezer. Or fill a baggie with 1 part rubbing alcohol, 3 parts water, and throw that in the freezer. Dishwashing soap will also freeze up, and hey, it can be either blue or green. Or if you want fabulously cool, fill the bag with corn syrup, add a little bit of glitter, and oh, that's disco time, baby. Now, we all know that drinking water in the heat's important, but warm water isn't really all that refreshing, now is it? Want to cool a beverage faster in the freezer? Wrap it in a wet paper towel and put it in the freezer for about 15 minutes. The results? A drop by 10 degrees. And yes, that works with all beverages. Say you're in a place with no air conditioning, or maybe you're out camping. Well, I've got a super cool hack for you, literally, that is sure to impress your friends. You take a large styrofoam cooler, fill it with frozen water bottles. Using a marker, trace around a small fan on the top. At 2 dryer vents, cut holes, insert the fan, the vents, turn it on, and you've got chilled air for about 20 bucks. Here's a hack to help you stay cool at night. Sheets that have been cooled in the freezer will provide nice relief. Rubbing alcohol on the skin can also cool you down at bedtime. Let's not forget about our pets in the heat of the day. Make sure you keep them off the sidewalk because their paws are not going to really be able to withstand all that heat. And if they are outside, make sure they're hydrated and they stay in the shade. Here's another idea for a cool hack to keep them happy. Yes, yes. Put kibble or treats in an ice cube tray. Add low-sodium chicken or beef broth, then freeze. Or use an 8x8 pan. Add veggies. and or apple slices. Then freeze this pan and it'll last for hours in a shady spot. Either way, your dog will eat it up. No sweat. Do dogs sweat? Well, while we're trying to figure that out, here's another cool idea. Fill a heavy-duty blow-up mattress with hose water instead of air. Place it in a shady area, and your pet will be chilling on a special waterbed all day in the shade. Oh, these hot weather hacks just keep getting nuttier and more crazy. It's hot here in the neighborhood. The kids are whining. You could go get an inflatable pool, easy peasy, right? Well, wrong. We've got a truck, we've got a friend, we've got a tarp, I've got a hose, you've got a pool. My friend Havana and I threw this together in a jiff. You just line the truck bed with the heavy-duty tarp, tape it all around to prevent slippage, and fill to about a foot or so with water. Is everybody having a good time? Yeah! Wow, my gosh! They're staying cool in the pool, and they can keep on trucking. Oh, somebody doesn't like getting splashed. Smack, whack, hack. Bugs got you going crazy this year? Well, coming up, we've got a few hacks to get them to buzz off. This is Weather Hacks, your guide to hacking the weather. Our climate's changing. The average global temperature has risen about 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit since the middle of the last century. This warming is increasing the chance of more heavy rainfall events. And all the things that come along with heat, like rain and humidity, make a bad hair day seem easy. You know, another one of nature's nasty nuisances when it's hot? Bugs. It seems like the hotter it gets, the more we see them. We brought in an expert entomologist at the American Museum of Natural History. This is a guy who knows his bugs. Louis Sorkin. Louis, nice to have you.
Thanks, Al.
Okay, so when it's hot out, what effect does that have on the production of bugs?
Many insects do really well when it's hot, in the upper 80s and 90s. The hotter it is, the faster their life cycle will go through. So you might not even notice a nest in the spring, and all of a sudden you see lots of things around.
Because of the heat?
Because the heat has let them produce lots of young.
So this is great for them right now.
It sure is.
Did you know that insects don't sweat? They're cold-blooded. This means in warm weather, they become more active. And a warmer climate means shifting habitats as well as increased numbers. If the winter isn't so cold, insects emerge earlier in the year. Why do some people seem to get bitten more often than other people?
Did you count how many you have on that arm?
I counted 86 on one arm.
86?
Mm-hmm.
The attractiveness for mosquitoes is the carbon dioxide. So someone who has exercised a lot might be breathing a lot, producing a lot more CO2. People who perspire a lot, some of the compounds in perspiration mixing with bacteria on the body can produce attractive chemicals for mosquitoes.
Female mosquitoes need the protein in our blood for egg production, and the ladies prefer those with type O blood over those with A or B. Another thing that attracts mosquitoes, drinking beer. Scientists think it's the increased ethanol in your sweat and you get hotter. Lou, we got this weather hack online. To trap mosquitoes, we got a liter-sized soda bottle. Cut that in half. Put some hot water and mixed it with brown sugar. Let it cool, and then topped it with a little yeast. Then taped it together like this. We put it out last night and got nothing. It doesn't seem like we've collected anything.
Yeah, it doesn't work quite well because producing carbon dioxide from the yeast, but carbon dioxide would have to build up to an enormous amount to actually come up through this opening to attract them. It's heavier than air, so it stays down low. Maybe if that were something turned on its side where they'll fly into it instead of having to go down, might actually produce more of a plume of carbon dioxide.
What about those machines you see advertised that produce carbon dioxide? Are those effective?
Yes, they're expensive,
Yes.
but yes, they produce carbon dioxide. They have a little fan in there too, so when the mosquitoes get too close, they're pulled in to the trap.
I've heard you could spread coffee grounds in stagnant water.
No, I've never heard of that one.
No, that's...
No.
But stagnant water is a bad thing.
Stagnant water, like what you have in the gutters up here, there's leaves, and the water and the leaves mix. You have breakdown in organic material in there, and that's what mosquito larvae feed on.
So clean out your gutters.
So clean out the gutters.
So what do you think about repellents? Which ones do you think are really effective?
DEET, that's been around for many years, and also picaridin, another product that was used worldwide and now recently used in the U.S., that has a good effect on keeping mosquitoes from biting.
Well, Lou, we found some homeopathic hacks to keep mosquitoes away. Mix equal parts of Indian lilac oil and pure coconut oil and apply it all over your body. Also, rub eucalyptus or lavender oil directly on skin. Put a few drops of citronella into candles or spray in the air. A few drops of tea tree oil in water sprayed on your face. Fill a spray bottle with water. Add 20 drops of lemon and eucalyptus essential oil. Now, what about ants?
Well, most of the ant species are actually beneficial, and they're predatory. They'll feed on other insects.
Lou, are there things you can do around the house to, if not repel them, at least not attract ants?
Depends on the ant species, but excessive moisture around a house will attract a lot of ants. Also, people will keep wood for fireplaces next to a house. That's not good for carpenter ants. They'll cause structural damage.
Oh, that's not good either.
No.
Okay, say you've got an ant invasion inside the house. Here's a hack that's gonna stop them right in their tracks. Sprinkle cinnamon wherever you see the ants hanging out. Or you can use cinnamon essential oil if you want to be tidier. Just dip a cotton swab in it and draw a line. They will not cross. Now, let's talk about flies. Is there anything you can use to trap house flies?
Well, fly paper.
I mean, my grandmother had this, so it hasn't
It works.
changed.
It still works. In fact, some of the companies even put pictures of flies on it to get the flies to think they're more flies and they're attracted to it.
I love that. Aside from fly art hanging from your ceiling, here's a newer age hack to keep those buzzing bugs at bay. Cut a lemon in half. Stud the fruit with whole cloves. Flies hate lemon and flies hate cloves. We hate flies. Everybody wins.
If you have garbage and rotted food, yes, they're attracted to that. You also find them on dog feces, and that's where they're going to lay their eggs.
Enjoy your breakfast. Some folks swear by this next hack. Put 4 pennies in a plastic bag filled with water and then tape that over your door. Supposedly, the light refraction off the water keeps the flies away. Bees. They're great for honey, but yet, getting stung is no fun.
Bees start up in the spring. In later summer, you have lots of workers from individual hives. And they're all busy, as a bee, collecting pollen and nectar, bringing it back, and putting honey in there for storage.
Is it true bees are attracted to certain colors?
Light colors will attract bees, and certain scents, perfumes may definitely attract bees.
If and when a bee stings you, there's a lot going on. The bee leaves behind a venomous toxin that can cause you pain and other symptoms. And if you're highly allergic, this can actually be life-threatening, so make sure you get treatment. For most of us, though, it just stings, literally. So get the stinger out immediately, as the venom continues to release for up to 10 minutes after you're stung. Maybe you can take solace in the fact that even though you're about to face a few uncomfortable days, the bee is dead. Whether you're stung by a bee or a mosquito, here are some itch relief hacks that really work. Toothpaste, the white kind, baking soda and water, table salt, apple cider vinegar, topical antihistamines, lemon juice, basil, cold compresses, and essential oils like menthol, camphor, tea tree, eucalyptus, nutmeg, and thymol. And finally, deer ticks are appearing in more and more places. These bad boys, or we should say girls, as it's the female of the species that bites, are no bigger in size than a sesame seed. Yet they can spread a debilitating disease. 50% of all deer ticks carry Lyme disease, which you do not want to get. Are you wondering about some hacks to keep them off your back or your front or your whole body? Tick hack number 1. Just like mosquitoes, ticks don't like DEET or picaridin. Tick hack number 2. Treat clothing, footwear, even tents with 0.05% permethrin. Tick hack number 3. Kill those suckers immediately after you come inside by throwing all your clothes into a dryer on high heat. That'll teach them. So you get a tick, you find a tick when you come back from outside. Any hacks on getting the tick off?
Well, there are a lot of the bad ones, which are Vaseline or flames or a hot match, but maybe not a lit match. All those really don't work, but make the tick throw up and disengorge into you, so that's not right. The best way is to get a fine point forceps or a curved fine point forceps, and you grasp the mouth parts close to your skin as possible and slowly and steadily pull that tick out. That's all there is to it.
Lou, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. You see what I...
Yeah.
Did you know that driving on a flat tire can cause a devastating fire? Or that a few little floating embers can cause you to lose everything? Coming up, we'll show you how state-of-the-art testing is helping to protect you and your home. So far, we've learned some cold, hard truths about hail. Seen high winds take an entire house down. Learned how to keep our cool when things really heat up and when the bugs really bug us. We've talked floods, thunderstorms, hail, power outages, and there's another devastating heat and drought danger that we can't overlook. With the rising temperatures, research has shown that over a 45-year period beginning in 1970, the number of wildfires in the western states has tripled, while the annual area burned has increased by 6 times. Some wildfires are caused by spontaneous combustion of dead leaves, twigs, and trees in the heat and lightning strikes. But as hard as it is to believe, over 9 out of 10 wildfires nationwide are caused by humans. Wildfires usually occur in unpopulated areas, but they can explode very quickly and travel great distances, harming homes, agriculture, animals, and humans in their path. Here are some tips for you to help lower those numbers. Abandoned campfires are a common cause of wildfires. So always remember, when you're camping, allow the wood to burn completely to ash if possible. Then pour lots of water on the fire. Drown all those embers, not just the red ones. Remember, as Smokey Bear taught us all, if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
Kids, only you can prevent forest fires.
Mow your lawn before 10 a.m., but never when it's windy or excessively dry. Metal lawnmower blades striking rocks can actually throw sparks and start fires. Whenever you're working outside with any mechanical equipment, keep a fire extinguisher and/or water handy. Be sure chains and other metal parts aren't dragging from your vehicle. They throw sparks as well. And when it comes to your car, check your tire pressure. Driving on exposed wheel rims or driving with worn brake pads can also cause fires. Don't burn debris in your yard when it's dry or windy, and only if legally allowed in your area. Keep burn piles small and manageable, and always stay by your burn pile, fire pit, or campfire, and make sure you've got a water source nearby. So what do you do if a wildfire is coming for you and your home? Create a fire break or fire line by removing a strip of vegetation or other combustible materials. The goal is to remove dead wood and undergrowth down to the mineral soil about 3 to 6 feet wide. Move heat sources like grills, propane tanks, and firewood stacks at least 10 feet from your home. Turn your sprinklers on and point them at the house. Fill all the pools, tubs, and garbage cans with water and place them around your exterior. Turn on all your house lights to make them more visible to firefighters. Move furniture inside to the center of the rooms. remove all flammable window treatments, and close the flue in your fireplace to protect from embers. While big flames are scary, embers are the most important cause of home ignition. We're here with Julie Ratzman. She's the CEO here at IBHS. Now, you do all kinds of testing with fire. What are you testing here?
Here we're meticulously recreating an ember storm. So we create in our laboratory the right kinds of embers, the right kind of firebrands. We push them with some wind so that they attack the structures the way a realistic wildfire ember storm would look and the way it would act.
Why are embers so dangerous?
Well, the fire service does a really good job of breaking the walls of the fire down, but well outside the perimeter, embers are traveling and they will land either on or near a house or be pulled in through the ventilation system. They're gonna light up that whole house, take that house down, and then surrounding houses go down as well.
Embers can travel for miles, even entering your house through air vents, ultimately burning the house down from the inside out. What are some of the things you can do?
First and foremost, there's a concept called defensible space, just to create an area at least 5 feet, preferably 30 feet, where you don't really have anything combustible near the home. If you've got a wood fence that leads up to the house, try to put a metal plate between the end of the fence and the beginning of the house so that your fence doesn't act like a wick, and the fire just moves along from there to the house. Don't allow your gutters to get full of debris, which is basically kindling. Don't use pine straw mulch or other combustible material right up next to the side of the house. And just make sure that from a maintenance perspective, you don't have a lot of dead plants, tree limbs, and other things that are around that can just act as firebrands and transfer flames to the house.
The time to prepare for this isn't when the wildfires are approaching. You need to do these precautions, these weather hacks, long before.
Any weather hack related to a wildland fire has got to be done well in advance, because by the time the fire is in your neighborhood, it is too late. At that point, you should be concerned about life safety, not property safety.
Julie, thank you so much. Great information. And of course, the most important weather hack of all is when the authorities tell you to get out.
Get out.
When it comes to hacks of any kind, there's one tool of all trades that I'll bet we've all used at one point or another. You might want to stick around for what it is. Hopefully, we've enlightened you with many ways to hack the heat this hour. But we'd be remiss to not remind you that when it comes to most hacks, a hacker's best friend is always a roll of duct tape. Its uses innumerable. Who wouldn't love to meet and thank the guy who invented this? What if I told you it wasn't a guy at all? If you thought duct tape was just for ducks, where have you been? This stuff is used for everything from fashion to function to art to emergencies. It's been used by everyone for everything. It was even put to good use in space, when the astronauts of Apollo 13 had to fix an air filter.
You know what happened? The Velcro came unbonded. We probably ought to get a piece of tape on those.
And when the guys on Apollo 17 had to repair the lunar rover, it was literally a lifesaver.
Not bad. We gotta take a picture of that fender if it works.
And the glorious story of this venerable worldwide and beyond must-have is one of an unsung hero named Vesta Stout. Yes, a woman invented duct tape. And if not for her great-granddaughter unearthing the story, we might have never known. Back in the 1940s, Vesta Stout was a mom with sons serving in the Navy during World War II. Doing her part for the war effort, she went to work at an ammunition packing plant. After noticing that the paper tape used to seal the boxes of ammo wasn't durable enough to do the job, she came up with the idea of a cloth-based waterproof tape. The tape would save valuable time on the battlefield, which would in turn save many lives. When she sent the government her idea, they blew her off. So Vesta did what any other concerned mother would do. She wrote a letter to the President of the United States. In the letter to President Roosevelt, whom she addressed as friend, she sketched out a diagram of the ammo box tab issue and appealed to the president. As a father of servicemen, now your son My son, our neighbor's son, has to pull this tape off, she wrote. And it worked. President Roosevelt sent the letter on to the War Production Board, who enlisted Johnson & Johnson to produce the tape. To make it, they used 3 materials: natural rubber adhesive, a medical gauze-type cloth, and the waterproof plastic tarp backing. For Vesta's efforts, the War Production Board rewarded her with a lovely letter of recognition and asked her to send on any other ideas she had as well. Folks in the military loved the product so much they found so many uses for it. And when they came home, the housing boom began. And what started out as duct tape, because it was made from a cotton duck fabric and was water repellent, like water rolling off a duck's back, it became a handy tape for installing heating ducts. And that's when it became known as duct tape. So whether you call it duct tape or duct tape, we still have a loving mom named Vesta Stout to thank. Well, Vesta's family now gets the credit she deserves. I, for one, am going to start calling this Vesta tape. No? No? All right. Well, here are a few duct tape hacks for the rain and heat. You can make a super strong rope by twisting 3 pieces of duct tape together. Waterproof your hiking boots. Or just add extra insulation by wrapping the boots, leaving no leaks in, yes, duct tape. Kind of a pain to get off, though. Create a shelter by duct taping a plastic tarp between 2 trees. It'll help keep you out of the rain. Need to build a fire quickly? Rip small pieces of duct tape and ball them together. Actually makes great tinder. Get rid of a nasty splinter. Ouch! Oh, it's gone. And check this out. Need a bucket? Find a cut log. Around one end, wrap a layer of duct tape sticky side out. Then wrap a layer over that, sticky side in. Make a handle, and voila. Works for a makeshift dog water dish as well. Refreshing. And let's not forget the crafty things your kids can do. Grandma's gonna love these. And then, of course, there's always the popular bathing suit hack. Yes, people have made bathing suits out of duct tape. Taking it off, ooh, talk about bikini wax. Ouch! Thank you, Vesta. And on that note, we'll say goodbye. Thanks for watching, stay cool, and that's a wrap.